The Herd starts now.
Undisputed.
Here we go, loaded on a Tuesday, live in Los Angeles. This is The Herd, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Joy Taylor is joining me on a fantastic day today. There's all sorts of stuff swimming around out there. Joy, how are you?
Great game last night.
Great game last night. We'll talk about that in a couple minutes. Great game, great tournament. Totally into it. Thought it was a blast. Totally over-delivered, by the way.
Yes.
Thought we were going to get a yawn fest. I sat there for 2 hours, the whole family watching. Let me start with this, though. Oh, wow. Aaron Rodgers hit back yesterday. All right, let me just tell you what happened. A couple days ago, somebody wrote a story, Tyler Dunn, and it was not very complimentary of Aaron Rodgers or Mike McCarthy. It detailed the mess last year and the mess for the last several years. A lot of things I'd heard before. In fact, I said about the Aaron Rodgers stuff, nothing was really new outside of one or two things. Well, Aaron came out yesterday, guns a-blazing, all fired up, and he punched back, and here's a little taste of Aaron Rodgers firing back in that negative article.
The thing is about this article, it's not a mystery. This was a smear attack by, a writer looking to advance his career, talking with mostly irrelevant, bitter players who all have an agenda, whether they're advancing their own careers or just trying to stir old stuff up. And then what happens is the same tired media folks picking it up and talking about it. This just emphasizes their opinion about me already. The crazy thing is there's super slanted opinions in that piece stated as fact. And then there's quote-unquote facts, which are just outright lies.
Oh, my God. The NFL's most openly liberal California progressive quarterback went Donald Trump. Bitter. Smear campaign. Out to get me. He went red hat. Aaron put it on and called everybody bitter and useless and liars and smear attack and out to get me. How ironic yesterday was for Aaron. If you just wrote those words down, they're very Trumpian. I do not believe everybody just makes stuff up about Aaron. They're just out to get him. I don't believe that. I don't read stories like this about Matt Ryan or Phillip Rivers or Andrew Luck or Tom Brady. I'm not saying he's the only quarterback to ever be criticized, but oh God, this felt so Trumpian. And by the way, it's a very good strategy. He even did, and this is what the Donald does, he goes to the favorable media, Fox News, who sort of takes care of him and sees his world. Well, where did Aaron go? Not to a Peter King, over to Milwaukee Radio, who just lobs up softballs so Aaron can hit him out of the park. And oh, by the way, in both cases, it works. There is so much distrust in the media, I read the surveys, that it works. It galvanizes your base. Trump's approval rating this morning is 53%. The Mueller report doesn't land like the Democrats, liberals wanted it to, and boom, more power than ever. And this morning in Green Bay, and that community and everybody's rallying around him, and the Green Bay media saying those national guys don't know what they're talking about, and the Green Bay fans and the cheeseheads, and Aaron played to his base. It's actually brilliant. He borrowed a page from our current president, who, by the way, I wouldn't vote for, but I don't have a problem that many of you do. It's America. Our republic's built for that. My biggest concern's always been the erosion of the trust in the media, not the people who the media criticizes. But in this case, it was absolutely, you can see where it's coming from. Aaron Rodgers is now 35, increasingly brittle. His division and his conference is better. They are not as good, as talented as the Bears. The roster isn't as good as the Vikings. And Aaron's now looking at 34, 35 years old right in the face. He had a locker room he had to seize. He's got a new coach that nobody knows and nobody's quite sure they trust. And Aaron had to get that locker room back. And he did it. And he galvanized his base. And he went to local media and put on a red hat, and everybody's out to get him, and it's fake, and they're bitter, and it's just some media guy trying to elevate his career. Oh, boy. Okay. By the way, he also did, this is a great tactic. This is a tactic I've seen recently from the White House, which is throw something out there that kind of sounds right until you actually go beneath the surface. Here's something else Aaron said.
If I really dislike Mike that much, why would I re-sign? Knowing if I play well and we do what we do around here, we made the playoffs 8 straight years, then I got hurt, we missed the playoffs, it's going to be me and Mike my entire career. So if I really disliked him that much, you think I'd re-sign? Is the money that important to me? I'll tell you, it's not. Quality of life is important.
Oh, God, that sounds so right on the surface. Yeah! Except for in the NFL, quarterbacks are trapped. They had a franchise tag you for multiple years. You couldn't have gotten out if you wanted to get out. All you have to do is take a little shovel and dig a little deeper on that quote. And that, my friends, is fake news. Listen, if you want to believe this morning that everybody is just out to get Aaron, the Gunslinger book, multiple sources saying things, they're all just out to get him. Jeff Pearlman, the writer's out to get him. Tyler Dunn's out to get him. Jeff Saturday, one of the nicest guys I've ever met who played with him, out to get him. Craig Knoll, the backup for Favre, who heard stuff, out to get it. Go for it. Go for it. I don't do a show trying to convince you how to feel. I do a show telling you how I feel. It can land how it wants to land. But yesterday was playing to your base, galvanizing it, saying the kind of things that rallies them around you. I just thought it was incredibly ironic that the NFL's most openly progressive, politically liberal quarterback donned a red hat. Do better, Aaron. Let's shift to this. Great game last night. I thought it was going to be boring. Ratings are out. You loved it. I mean, didn't love it, but you liked it a lot. Congratulations to both teams, especially Virginia. What a crazy tournament. You talk about dead and unraveled themselves and unpacked losses and turned them into wins. College basketball doesn't have the stars it used to. For those of you in your 20s, here's how the way it used to work. Zion Williamson would come back not only as a sophomore, but as a junior and probably a senior. No, I'm not joking. That's the way it used to work. Stars came back for 3 and 4 years. There was a time when college basketball felt every bit as big as the NBA pre-Magic, pre-Bird, pre-Michael. It's not anymore. What college basketball feels like is that restaurant you've been going to for 30 years and the food's not nearly as good as it used to be, but it's comfortable. It's by your house. They've got good margaritas. There's a couple waiters or waitresses you really like, and it makes you happy. And the food's not as good as it used to be. The good chef left years ago and opened up his own restaurant. But it does make you feel good. And you know the people in that restaurant care. And when you juxtapose the apathy of NBA stars sitting out for load management and you put it up against the, albeit significantly less talented college guys who are dying for every possession, it feels good. It feels like it matters. College basketball is overwhelmingly now just a 3-week sport. But for 3 weeks, it gives you something in March and early April that the NBA does not during that stretch. Passion, intensity. They really care. Do or die. Go to the replay. Can end a season. And the way Virginia last year was knocked out as a number 1 seed in the first round and then came back to win it this year is what sports is all about. Absolute redemption. College basketball used to be much bigger. The season was much more discussed, but it still matters. It still matters in towns like Spokane and Charlottesville and Ann Arbor. It matters a lot. Lubbock, Texas, lost last night, but they feel better about themselves. And that's a real thing. Not everybody can be the NFL. Not everybody can be Kevin Durant. Not everybody can be the New England Patriots. Not everybody can be the Warriors. But in middle-sized towns to small towns all over America, you care and we care. And those guys last night did. And that was awesome. Congrats to UVA. Coming up next, I showed incredible restraint yesterday, I have to admit. It wasn't until Joy slipped it into the show halfway through that we even discussed that Russell Westbrook was voted on by the players as the most overrated player. I am going to just briefly slip it into the show and then jettison the topic very quickly because